When you hear a name like Starbucks or Michelin, what pops into your head? I bet it's more than just a logo, right? It's a whole feeling, a set of expectations. Well, this explainer is all about that powerful mental picture we all carry around, the brand image. And we're basing this on the great work of Alexander Trinev.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll go way beyond the logo to figure out what a brand image really is. Then, we'll talk about something called the visibility challenge. After that, we'll see how brands do this magic trick of making invisible qualities feel real. And finally, we'll look at how Nestlé basically wrote the book on this.
All right, let's jump right in. Part 1. Beyond the logo. Before we can get into the strategy, we've got to be on the same page about what we mean by brand image.
So what is it really? It's not the logo, it's not the slogan. The brand image is the mental real estate a company owns in your head. It's this whole web of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that you personally have about that company. It's totally subjective, and it's built from every single interaction you've ever had with them.
Now, it's super important not to confuse image with reputation. They're related, but they're not the same thing. Reputation, that's backward-looking. It's about what the company has done. It's their track record. Brand image, on the other hand, is all about the future. It's the promise. It's what the brand means to you, the customer, right now.
And it's a similar story when you compare image with value. Brand image answers a really fundamental question. What is this brand? It's the soul, the identity. But brand value? Well, that's where you come in. It answers your question, okay, great, but what's in it for me? It's all about the benefits you're going to get.
Okay, so we've got the definition down. Now for the really interesting part. Why does any of this actually matter? This brings us to the visibility challenge, and it's where we see why brands are just so critical. So put yourself in the customer's shoes for a second. How do you decide if something's any good before you've actually paid for it? It's a tough question, because the real challenge is that a lot of a product's most important benefits are completely invisible.
You can basically sort product features into 3 buckets. First, you've got the observable stuff. Easy peasy. It's the color of a car, the size of a box. You can see it, you can touch it. Then there are experiential attributes. You can only figure these out by using the product, like how comfortable is that car's ride. And then you have the really tricky one, credence attributes. These are things you can't really confirm even after you've used the product. Think about the safety rating of that car. You just have to believe it. You have to trust it.
And that is where a great brand steps in. This is the magic of it all. So let's talk about making the invisible visible.
Is such a simple phrase, but it is so incredibly powerful. This is the core job of a brand, to take those things you can't see, the things you have to trust, and make them feel real and tangible.
So think about it like this. The harder it is for you to judge a benefit for yourself, the more you have to lean on the brand. For those simple, observable things, the brand doesn't have to work that hard. But as you move up the ladder to experiential, and then all the way up to those credence attributes, man, the brand becomes absolutely crucial. Its value just skyrockets.
And you see this with all the great brands, right? Look at Evian. How do you sell purity in water? You can't see it, but the brand makes you believe it. Or Michelin. They're not just selling rubber, they're selling safety for your family with that motto. It's brilliant. Same thing with Intel Inside. They made an invisible chip the most important part of the computer. And Apple? They've built a fortress around the idea of privacy and security, things you hope you never have to test.
All right, let's bring this all home with a foundational example of a company that built its entire identity around communicating trust. Let's look at the Nestlé blueprint. Just listen to this. This quote from the founder, Henri Nestlé, is absolutely incredible. It shows he understood this stuff from day one. When someone suggested he use the Swiss cross, a generic symbol of quality, he refused. Why? Because his name, Nestlé, means little nest. His logo, his coat of arms, wasn't just a random picture, it was a deeply personal symbol of nurturing, safety, and care. Anyone could use a cross, but only he could use the nest. And because he built that incredibly powerful and trustworthy core identity, look what happened. They started with infant formula, you can't get more trust-based than that, and were able to expand into totally different areas. Chocolate, coffee, even high-end Nespresso systems. Through it all, that core promise of safety and quality, symbolized by that nest, gave them the permission to grow and earn customer trust again and again. So, at the end of the day, what's the big takeaway here? A brand's most important job, its real job, is to build trust around the benefits customers can't see for themselves. Its purpose is to make those invisible, faith-based attributes feel absolutely real,
And that leaves us with a pretty critical question for anyone in business. What invisible value is your brand failing to communicate?